I will now like to introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Songlin Wang. Songlin will be talking all about eelgrass beds, particularly in northeast China. Eelgrass beds are an inshore ecosystem providing habitat for hundreds of marine species, but I'm sure Songlin will go into a lot more detail about it. He will be also letting us know how human activities are threatening these eelgrass beds and the marine population they house. So let's add Songlin in. Hi, Songlin, how are you?
Hi, Sylvia. Good. Good morning or afternoon, evening, depending where you are.
It is afternoon where I am, but also I think it's afternoon where you might be as well. So good afternoon to you.
Yes.
Amazing. I'm very excited to hear what you have to share today. Will you be presenting?
Thank you. And for the audiences, thank you either for getting up early or staying very late. So I will share the screen.
Mm-hmm. Great, got it here. Amazing. Over to you.
Nice, it's working. This. So, well, I just heard this super exciting story from Sean about tigers, but now from the super charismatic animal on land. So I will show you something probably less well known under the water, the underwater meadows. So talking about seagrass. So for those of you who know less about this species group, when we talk about seagrass, we are talking about at least 72 known species of vesicular plants. So they most of them got ancestors on land, so they are real relatives to grass on land. And millions of years ago, they went back to the shallow sea waters and estuary areas, and they are, as vesicular plants, they are different from algae like kelp nori or wakame. Although nori is sometimes referred to seaweed, but they are algae, by no means weed. But these seagrasses are. So they got the seagrasses all got complex structure of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, and seeds. And they most of the seagrass, they prefer sandy, silty, or gravel substrates under the seafloor, as they have roots and stems, and they need these substrates to fix themselves against waves and ocean currents, and then their leaves tend to be fairly soft, allowing them to better resist those kind of frequent tides, floods, waves. And many seagrasses occur in large colonies. We call them seagrass meadow, or more precisely, seagrass bed. And then they appear in all the in shorelines across the of all continents except for Antarctica, which is covered by ice and way too harsh for seagrass. And then they normally they won't reach too deep, up to 50 or maximum 60 meters, because the sunlight is another limiting factor. So that's why most of the seagrass beds occur in the shoreline, along the shorelines, in some estuaries, and very rare of them occur offshore, where there's a shallow kind of a bank or something. And in China, among the 72 species within the waters of China, we got 22 species, still a good diversity. But in the north, the dominant species is eelgrass, and in the southern China, the warmer water, dominant species is Dungan grass. Well, I will focus on today's sharing on the eelgrass, as this is the species we are trying to conserve. But certainly, just want to show this illustration indicating the relationship of the southern Dungan grass and Dungans. So Dungans do eat this grass, and so does animals like green sea turtles. And now back to the eelgrass. Well, this eelgrass doesn't is not eaten by eel, but it is certainly home to some eel species. But I think it gets the name eelgrass from its very soft and lean leaf, or we call blade. This resembles eel. But this illustration again is drawn by a very talented colleague of mine, indicating how important this eelgrass bed or meadow is to high numbers of fish and marine invertebrates and even ETP species like seahorse. ETP here means endangered, threatened, or protected. And for your information, also the eelgrass is not certainly not only occur in China. So eelgrass is widely distributed in the northern hemisphere, in all northern continents. So here are the fuller spectrum of its ecological functions. As a critical kind of habitat, the eelgrass, as Sylvia shared at the very beginning, is home to hundreds of species of marine fish in the Yellow Sea ecoregion, where we are living and doing the conservation effort. The record is over 100 species of finfish is dependent on the eelgrass, and so does several hundred species of invertebrates, including clams, crabs, octopus, cuttlefish, squid, some sea snails, and anemone, and it's also known as a breeding and feeding ground, nursery ground for dozens of commercially important fish stocks. So it's both important for marine biodiversity and also for the people's seafood baskets. And then it's certainly a biological filter, as it can absorb excessive nutrients, protecting our inshore water space from these eutrophication problems. So too much nutrients cause the kind of a harmful algae bloom. But certainly, if a too high level of nutrients beyond its capacity to absorb would overwhelm the eelgrass bed and kill them. And then the eelgrass bed can also accelerate sedimentation and stabilize sediment. So where we have a live eelgrass bed, the bay water or inshore water tend to be much cleaner. And then it's also a super important carbon sink. Now we know that for all the carbon dioxide we, as a human being, generated by from our life or industrial agricultural activities, 30% of them or even more absorbed by the ocean and seas, and we know that for this ocean and sea, where collectively we call a blue carbon sink, 10% of that is contributed by seagrass, and among the seagrass, certainly eelgrass bed is a major contributor. And then the last but not least is an essential ecological barrier or buffer. So eelgrass can weaken the harm of strength from the natural disasters like storm surge, flooding from as a result of typhoon or tsunami, those natural disasters, and by weakening the waves, the tide, the floods, it can significantly protect lives and properties from of our coastal communities. So here is a small album my colleagues collected during our regular investigation in survey of eelgrass along the shoreline of Qingdao, the very city we are living. And in some places of Shandong province, the eelgrass is even used as an important building material. So in the late fall, early winter time, when the old eelgrass leaves are off and washed ashore, and local residents always collect those leaves and use them, dry them, and use them as rooftops. And they are, according to the local people using them, they are far better than straws the other farmers would traditionally use. But despite of all those virtues, the coastal residents didn't pay much attention to this treasure, and the eelgrass has been lost at an alarming but unknown rate. So by the time ecologists, conservationists start paying attention to this habitat, so research reports show that there were only 7 square kilometers of eelgrass bed being left, and we didn't even know historically how much was the total size of the historical coverage. But of some place where we have some record, we know the rate of loss was 90%. That's very sad and alarming rate. But in 2015, around 6 years ago, there was an exciting discovery. A team of marine ecologists, scientists, found a eelgrass bed in the Bohai Sea or Bohai Bay, to be more precise, only 100 kilometers away from Beijing, our capital. An eelgrass bed of 10 square kilometers. So that was a thrilling discovery, although only among marine conservationists and the scientific community. Because eelgrass is too ordinary, too unknown to most of the public. So 4 years after this first discovery, the central government organized another team of scientists from the Ministry of Natural Resources, and they found in the entire Bohai Bay there are 50 square kilometers of eelgrass bed. So that's making the discovery even more exciting. So there are some ongoing efforts since then for some restoration, but still this Bohai Bay eelgrass bed is suffering from severe human-caused threats. Here they are. So first is this area is not the eelgrass bed, despite of its discovery of 5-6 years is still not a marine protected area, and without a legal conservation status, so the coastal reclamation, sand mining, or dike, pond, inshore aquaculture still pose a potential threat and the Yellow Sea ecoregion, particularly the Bohai Sea, is among the most heavily exploited or intensively exploited seas or bays of the world. So it's the development pressure is always a threat to all key coastal habitats there. The second is the harmful fishing activities, often conducted by IUU industrial fishers. So they you can see from the photos, the first one is the clam sucking. So the using big pumps to suck clam and all the living organisms from the seafloor and then sieve them out. So this is a very harmful gear or fishing method for the eelgrass bed, and those are the scars of the eelgrass bed after suffering the clam sucker vessel. Then certainly bottom trawl is taking another heavy toll on this habitat. So these are the threats we have to address. So with those, so luckily we got some opportunities. So politically, the Chinese top leadership is paying on historical high attention on ecological civilization, and the Bohai Bay is the bay, the single bay probably receiving the highest level of attention from Beijing due to its proximity to Beijing and also due to big cities like Beijing, Tianjin are all situated on the watershed that connects directly to the Bohai Sea or Bohai Bay. And the second is that there is then China is going to host the Conference of Parties, the 15th Conference of Parties (COP) of biodiversity, Biological Diversity Convention. So we understand that the 30 by 30 MPA agenda is also high in this kind of upcoming biodiversity global event, and this pose another opportunity for us to push for MPAs or advocate for conservation measures. But certainly there are still huge challenges. Top one is lack of interest from provincial governments and from the very local governments, either concerning of the potential impact on local artisanal fishers, if this is to be set as a no-take zone, or they are concerned, worrying about their weak capacity in taking care of this habitat. They are trying to shun responsibilities. And certainly then there's a lack of science-based compelling arguments affecting the central government's determination of MPA. So they need to be further, I mean, the top policymakers will need to be further convinced how important, how indispensable of this habitat is in terms of its ecological, social, and economic values. So here's what we are doing as a small NGO, Qingdao Marine Conservation Society, focusing on sustainable fisheries and marine habitat, marine ecosystem conservation. So we are essentially addressing two parts. One is the life or biodiversity part of it, of the eelgrass value. So we try to help all key stakeholders better understand this Bohai Bay eelgrass bed's biological, social, and economic values with scientific research assessment and also by strategic communications in support of MPA designation. Certainly, we would never do this or achieve this alone. We work together with a group of like-minded NGOs and also journalists as well as researchers. And then we are trying also to balance the conservation need with the needs to sustain livelihoods from traditional local fishing communities. So we try to secure understanding and caring from local small-scale fishing community leaders. And we also need to acknowledge that it was their original guidance to the scientific community to lead to the finding or rediscovery of this extremely valuable eelgrass bed. And we try to identify champions in this fishing community and try to convert them to future the BBEB MPA stewards or even guardians. We foresee a future of a well-managed MPA allowing well-managed, monitored artisanal fishing. And we hope this future kind of co-managers, stewards of these small community fishing leaders would also help the official governmental managers identify and eliminate commercial IUU activities that are threatening the eelgrass bed mostly. So here are what we are doing, and lastly, I want to also share a bit of the pop culture value of eelgrass. So in China, we have a very fun pop song called Seagrass Dance. And for some of you, like the Chinese Kung Fu, I seriously think Jet Li must have watched eelgrass a lot in order to practice his Tai Chi. So thank you all.